Now, Jesus, on 3 different occasions, told his disciples to watch and pray in view of the uncertainty of 3 situations. Now, the first situation is taken from Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. And that account is also seen in Mark 14, verse 38. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And in Mark 14:38 it says, watch ye and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak. Now, the subject matter that Jesus is dealing with here, or the situation, is the situation of temptation. The scenario is that Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane during his final hours, and he took his disciples with him, and specifically there were 3 that he took into the garden: Peter, James, and John, and he told them to rest there while he's going a little further, and he went to prayer. And on 3 different occasions when he came, he found them sleeping. Now, on the last occasion, when he found them sleeping, he made the statement, watch and pray. Now, what are you watching for? With reference to temptations, we shall watch for traps, areas of allurement, things that the enemy will use to draw us away. In James chapter 1, verse 13, the Apostle James said, let no man say when he is tempted, that I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust, lust of the eye, flesh, and the pride of life, and when he is enticed. So, temptation comes when we are drawn away and enticed. Notice from what Jesus is saying here, you are either watching and praying or you are asleep. When you are asleep, spiritually speaking, temptation gets the better of you. It gets the better of us when we are asleep spiritually. So why should we watch and pray? Jesus said, our spirit is willing. We all are always willing to do what the Lord tells us, and so on and so forth. But our flesh, this human flesh, the arm of flesh, is weak. So by watching and praying, we bring the flesh into subjection. We mortify our members. We put them to death by sanctification when we watch and pray. Now, to watch means to observe or look at something or someone attentively over a period of time. And to pray means to express a solemn request or to give an expression of thanks to a deity, and in this case the deity is Almighty God. Now, Romans 7 verse 18 to 23 tell us that there is a constant war going on between the law of our mind, between our mind and the law of our members, which is the flesh. And the Apostle Paul told the Romans that he know that in him, that is in his flesh, dwelleth no good thing. Very often we may be able to see things and sense when something is wrong, but we may not be able to overcome or withstand it unless we pray. Hence, when we are watching, we should be praying at the same time. The second situation that Jesus brought to our attention is in Mark chapter 13, verse 32 to 37, where it says, But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. Watch lest coming he comes suddenly, and he find you sleeping. Verse 37, And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. Now Jesus here is speaking of a specific time or event in history which no one knows when it will take place, but we know that it will take place, and that is his return to earth again. In addition to watching and praying, he gave an example in which he likened himself to a man going on a far journey with the intention of returning. Notice he said that the man left his house after giving specific instructions to his servants. Now we are the servants of Christ. These instructions include: 1, he gave them authority. He gave them specific tasks. And he told the porter or the doorkeeper to watch, keep the door. Now we have been given authority by Jesus. We are acting on his behalf. In Mark 16, verse 15 to 18, it tells us the authority that he have given us. He tells us to preach. We under his authority, or delegated authority, we have the right to preach, cast out devils, speak with new tongues, they cut serpents, heal the sick, raise the dead. All of that is delegated authority that he have given to his servants. He gave us specific tasks. In other words, all of us do not do everything, but we do things according to our giftings, to our abilities. He gave us these tasks. And he commanded the porter to watch. Now the porter there, sometimes some of us will interpret the porter to mean the doorkeeper or the shepherd or the pastor or the bishop or the reverend, right? But we, in our own right, are porters of our doors. We are commissioned by the Lord to keep the doors of our heart, guard them well. All of us are doorkeepers. Keep the entrances in our hearts. Keep them well guarded. Do not leave them unguarded at no time, because that is where the enemy will come in. The Lord, he's saying here that I may come at evening, I may come at midnight, I may come at the dawning of the day, just as the cock crow, or I may come in the morning period. So you do not know when I'm going to come. You do not know when I'm going to come. Not even the angels know, only my Father. So watch and pray. Then the third scenario he brings to us, the third situation, is in Luke 21, verse 34 to 36, where he said, And take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness, and cares of this life, so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So here it is. This is another situation that Jesus is telling us to watch and pray, but watch and pray, he said here, always. Why? That we may be accounted worthy to escape the things that he would have spoken of higher up in Luke chapter 21 that will come on the face of the earth. The fears, the distress of nations, the betrayals, the perplexities, the trouble in the air and the sea, the pestilences, the famines, the earthquakes, things like that. Watch and pray that we may be accounted worthy, that even although we may not be taken out of these things, that we may be able to escape the impact of these things. Now, things that can cause us not to watch and pray, as he mentioned, is one, the surfeiting and the surfeiting hearts, the self-indulgent hearts, excessive eating, excessive drinking, excessive pleasure. You understand? Everything that we do is intemperate, no self-control, and we do what we want to do. He said to watch out for these things, because these things can prevent us from being watchful and being prayerful. Drunkenness, he mentioned, is another thing, right? And we know, naturally speaking, that when a person is drunk, a person is not coherent. That individual is not rational. They are intoxicated, no control over their emotions. They stumble about. They wheel to and fro because they are in a drunken stupor. We are admonished not to let drunkenness of our emotions. We get our emotions scattered all about the place. Drunkenness, we allow things to come upon us, overburdened by things. Do not allow drunkenness to prevent us from being watchful and prayerful. Do not allow the cares of this life. Do not allow what we see and what we desire, the things we go after in this world, pleasures and the worries of this life. Do not allow these things to prevent us from being watchful and prayerful. We need to escape these things also. The Apostle Peter in 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10 also tells us, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all of these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought we to be? What manner of persons should you be as far as your conversation is concerned, as far as your lifestyle, as far as my conversation is concerned and my lifestyle? Looking for the hastening unto the coming of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire, that shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, we look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. And verse 14, it tells us, wherefore, beloved, seeing that we look for such things, seeing that we look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, and so on, he said then we should be diligent and be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. Seeing that we look for all of these things to happen, and that we are looking for a new heaven and a new earth, then we ought to live a certain way. But he mentioned that day should come as a thief in the night. Now, a thief do not call before he comes. You do not stare in front of your house and call your name and say, I will be back by you tonight at 10 o'clock. A thief does not do that. comes when you least expect him. Jesus will only come as a thief to those who are not expecting his glorious appearing. But if we consistently live our lives bearing in mind that Jesus could come anytime, he himself do not know the day nor the hour, we will be watchful and prayerful. So, be always on the watchtower, as the older folks would say. Praying always, even more so in these times, right? More than ever before, we need to be prayerful and we need to be watchful. We need not to be sidetracked nor distracted. Keep our eyes focused. Jesus can come at any moment.